2 pages.
Is there 2 pages?
Yeah.
There's a front and back.
No, there's not a front and back. You meant to do it front and back, but it didn't.
This
do
is
it.
front and back. Oh, okay.
That one's
Here you
not.
go.
I wonder if I got the original somehow. This is not front and back,
So they're not front and back, Scott?
but this one is.
Okay.
So, do we need a,
Well, some of them are like all back, some of them are all front. I don't know if they're all back, front,
It
back,
didn't
front.
print correct there, I
No.
didn't print it correct.
Yeah, they're not all
So
back.
that must be the original. So everybody that has one of the fronts needs both copies.
so you need a page that says ABS at the top,
Tommy
and a
needs the
page that
first
says all are welcome at the top.
What I did was I thought I was printing both the info for this meeting and for the after-church meeting on the same page. But it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And I don't know whether it's better if they hand out the 2 pages
I don't know.
and go ready to go back and reprint
I
it.
don't see the front.
Is it down at the bottom? No.
It's probably separated.
This is only backs.
Yeah, these are all back, Scott. I think there's only, the first 2 were
I
just,
couldn't run it.
Run and print it correctly.
This is both sides correct.
This is do you have one for the afternoon that you also want?
No, it's right
It's
here.
all on the same page.
That's the starting.
Oh,
so
so
this is just the back
everybody's
side,
doing
you guys?
both, right?
Go
now.
print facts,
Print out the.
front and back, and
I messed up.
there is no front.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
That's my
You don't
sermon.
even, you're not even including the scripture I'm saying. Sure, sure, sure. That's okay.
All of the papers I'm gonna put
Oh, okay, sure.
on the table right here.
Page 2, page 1's waiting. Hey, let me do this, Micah.
What?
Hang on a minute. I did
know
have
that's
a
the
copy
thing,
of
they're
the
gonna print out the
bulletin
front, they only got the
that
back.
had your special in there. So. That's not it. No, not yet. Pass that top one out and give me a copy of it. While we're waiting for copies that I miscopied, let me begin. Let me pray first. Father, excuse my bumbling. Pray that you would watch over this church as you have for so many years, but particularly this morning, as we see the things that you have done, and as we seek your guidance on the things to come. Pray you would, by your Spirit, guide us and direct us. Help us as we try to follow Jesus in building his church. I pray, Father, you would help us in that. You would see that we would be faithful, that we would be humble, and that we would be obedient. I ask all of these things for this day. In for every day, in Jesus' name, amen. I want to begin by looking at what we call our roster. Most of you, I think, unless you're fairly new, you have seen this document or things similar to it in times past. If you look at the shaded section in the bottom right that says participation, you see under the word participation in parentheses 3 years listed, 2026, 2023, and 2019. So under units, you see in the far right 47. That's the number of units in 2019, which was pre-COVID or right at COVID. That's how many different units we had. A unit could be a single person, a single man, a single woman, or a family. And so a unit could have one person in it, or it could have 5 people in it, depending on who was there. And so in 2019, we had 47 units. In 2023, we had 39 units. And this year, at the beginning of the year, and if you'd go ahead and pass those out, Jennifer.
I figured.
We had 39 units, and this year we had 39 units. If you drop down to the second bullet point, we had 64 adults. That included single adults, it included couples only, and it included couples and families. In 2023, we had 58 units, and in this year we have 57 adults. Children, we had 12 children in 2019. This year we have 14. If everybody had shown up, if you see that line total, if everybody had shown up, we would have had 76 people come to church in 2019. That was the average at the year end. And this year, if everybody showed up, we would have 71 people. The attendance shown as 45 was who showed up on average in the 8 weeks at the end of the year in 2025. So if you look now to the far left, you'll see couples in the church who have no children currently at home. And there are 10 of those couples. If you see a name in bold, those are couples, or as you see throughout the rest of the list, you see people in bold, they are people in leadership. So everything inside those categories, like couples, no children at home, my name and Colleen's name, Camps, are first. Not because we're the first in the group, but because alphabetically that's how it comes out. So we have 10 couples. First couple in the list is Camps. Last couple is Watley, but that's alphabetically. You look down and you see somebody that lives in the apartments that Diane manages. And so as you look through, you'll see other people with that same symbol. They are people who are in apartments that Diane and or Shirley have managed.
I just thought that was interesting to see them all.
Yes. So as you look down, you'll see there Chris and Sheena have 2 children still at home, and so forth. Single parents is Lori, and she has 1 grandson living with her. And her phone number is there, but that's accidental.
Oops, sorry.
It's over.
That doesn't mean everybody ought to call Lori. That was included by accident. So if you look at single women, and those 3, Cherise and Dulcie, have children who live with them. Then single men, we have 7 of those.
Hey, Scott,
Yes.
just while I'm noticing this, don't Anna's kids attend?
They're young adults, not kids.
They're over.
Oh, I see them over there. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
They're old.
And then single men, there are 7. we have one widower, Tom, and then we have 3 young adults. Shut-ins, we have one, Chris, and then we have one friend who is currently in prison, that's Aaron, and he will be out, I think, in August.
Yay.
August 7th, I think is the date.
Yes. So we
14.
try to keep this current and updated as time goes by. So it changes usually during the year as new people come, as other people may move, as we have someone who passes away. So this is our roster, and we use this for different things in leadership, but it is a prayer list for you. This gives you some way to know who to pray for, to call perhaps, and encourage. And Jen will redo this later, and we'll have it available to hand out, that will have phone numbers on it in the future. I didn't put phone numbers on it today, because I didn't want to clutter it up and make it hard to look at and hard to read.
You mean, you had me take off all the phone numbers for
Yes.
today?
Yes,
And now you're going to put them all back on?
yes,
Good thing I saved it.
yes, I knew you would. Do you have any questions about this list, or do you see any things that might be incorrect or need to be changed?
We're going to add Corey, I have his number.
Okay. Yes, but he would be a young adult who is not part of the
How
church.
old is he? He's not that young, is he? Matthew?
Yeah, he's an adult.
He's
not
an adult, right?
Where did the extra outlines end
Yeah,
up?
that doesn't count.
Are they right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need one. Where did the extras end up?
But he's
Do you
not.
have them in your hand?
He doesn't count. That's another one.
No, the extras of the outline.
No, I don't have.
Jen, when you came back in with the outlines for the morning,
They're right there.
Here?
Just in your face.
okay, I need one of those. So
Thank you.
let me give you a quick look at the rest of the morning. Craig is going to talk about the budget briefly, and the plans for the facility, and then there are other things that are going to be going on. So any questions about the roster? Okay, then here's Craig, who will do a review of the budget. Some of you have
I'm
heard
not
it.
quite ready yet.
Some of you have heard it before, so I'll skip and I'll have Micah come up and talk about the Bible study that they'll be beginning soon. Here's Micah.
You doing it now?
Well, apparently so.
Okay. I'm not running, but I'm back.
Well, okay. So Jen's grabbing a copy of the book I'm going to talk about. So last year, early in the year, and a little bit prior into 2024, Jen and I were having book studies on Wednesday nights, where we all would get a copy of a book, and we'd read through it if we could, and even if we couldn't, we'd come together on Wednesday and talk about a couple of chapters, and I really found that helpful to me and enjoyable, and we'd like to start that up again. Now, what we've been thinking to do is to do a book by Charles Spurgeon called Advice for Seekers. I think several of our prior book studies have been aimed at folks who've been in the church a long time and kind of just, I don't know, the best thing, I've been working on writing a video game the last few weeks, so the only thing I can think of is leveling up your Christianity. That's what those books have been about. But this book, Advice for Seekers, is heading back towards a lot of the basics of, I've been in church, but what really separates a follower of Jesus from someone who's just coming to church, or someone who just knows a few things about the Bible? And what should we do about that? And I think that might be beneficial for a number of our folks. Here's the book. I think even some of our folks that have been Christians a long time might enjoy that. But I'm well open to other thoughts. The question is, who might be able to come on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock here to church? Because I'd like to start that early in February and go, if we do this, I think we could get through this in about 8 weeks. And I think that would be beneficial to my household anyway, and possibly others. So Diane?
Can I buy one?
Yes.
I won't be around, I won't be able to make.
Boo.
So,
We should FaceTime you.
If you start, you have to stay here till you finish.
but Banner of Truth currently has, the Banner of Truth is the publisher. They currently have these on sale for $4 each, so it's an easy,
Well, I'm going to make sure that's still going here.
it is, I just checked.
Oh, did you?
Yes. So, yeah, we have a couple of copies now, but we'll order more depending on how many want to come. But I would like to start the first Wednesday in February, 6 p.m. here at the church, reading this book. And even if you're not much of a reader, what tends to happen is those who do read the book will come and have something to say. I agreed with this, I didn't agree with that, and we'll go through it. So it can still be beneficial. It can still be beneficial, and there's still opportunity to ask questions. And that's what it's focused on, really, is more the discussion. There's no particular curriculum. We're just going to come together. Shirley, you're trying to say something.
What did you say the actual name is?
Advice for seekers.
And I can do a bigger order, so we get the group, free shipping or something if you guys want. Just let me know.
So Spurgeon says, and this is, his time 150 years ago, that people who were honestly trying to figure out the gospel by going to church were often told, well, you pray this prayer and now you're done, you're a Christian, and ta-da, and not treated as continuing to seek and figure it out. And I've met several people in our group over the last year that have been told for years or have thought for years that they are believers in Jesus. But they don't have an actual experience of having been born again, of a heart change that alters their life. And that's what Spurgeon is saying, is that it is okay to be in a position in church where you can say honestly, I am seeking to be born again, but I have not yet. And this is advice for those that are in that position, and for those of us who have folks around us that are in that position, which is everybody. So, any other questions on that? Hearing none, I'll sit down.
Sounds good.
Okay. How do you turn this thing on?
There is a remote in a holster on this side.
Okay. But while we're at it, talking about Bible studies, Deborah's come on up, and we will talk about our Bible study while we're on that subject. So we have been working on a Bible series called Essentials of Faith. It kind of goes along with what you talked about.
Yeah.
We are on the fourth part of that series, which is what is the church? What does the church mean? And how do we do church? We'll be starting that February 23rd.
It's actually the 26th.
Oh, is it 26th? Okay.
Yes, Thursday.
Is your laptop on?
Yes.
That's not exactly open though, right? It's just for people at your
Is it
apartment.
on the right?
Right, it is presently
This one says they
still,
have
if
one.
we have it in the office.
Yeah.
Now,
Actually,
we're praying about and contemplating doing it in our apartment. Then it would open up for
For
anybody
people that don't live in
could
the
come.
complex.
As long as we can fit them in our apartment, so,
Right, so we had to limit it, but
right.
right now we're at like 4 of us, so that would be a good thing.
And yay, Shirley can come now.
So, like I said, we're gonna be starting on the 26th of February. On Thursday, we started at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we're on the fourth part of the series. It is a multiple part series. It will probably last us 2 years, this series. And it's been very, very fruitful.
I find it interesting, and not, I guess, not all too surprising, except for I'm continually getting surprised, that pastor is currently starting a series on the church. And the fourth series, which is what you guys happen to be on right now, is
Right,
about what is the church,
right.
right? I mean,
Yes, yes.
That's so
No
cool.
coincidences
Yeah,
with
no.
God. And it's essentials of faith, and it's
You guys can talk about whether pastor's right or whether the video's right.
right. It's for Right Now Media too. So,
Well,
everything's
he's
right.
more in my favor because he didn't change my paperwork, so.
You know who it's by, this new one?
No, I don't know his
Okay.
name.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's get on to the financials here.
you
And
zoom in
we're
on
gonna
that?
start with, not this one,
Wait, what?
that one.
Craig, can you zoom in on that, like, make it 300% or something?
I can. Let's go with 200, see how that does.
I don't think it heard you. I think you missed the click. There it goes.
Better?
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, the sheet you guys all have that is not printed in color because the computer or the printer decided not to be friendly with me. This is what we budgeted for 2025 and what we actually spent in 2025. If you look on the screen, the ones that are in red means that we did worse than we had hoped to do. And, yeah. And you can see, I'm sorry, this is.
Meaning we
the one.
spent more than we planned to.
Right, this is, this one. that's-
Sometimes it was on purpose.
Or brought in less than we thought.
Okay.
Right, we didn't do as well as we had hoped to do. Sometimes it's on income, sometimes it's spending more than we had hoped to. The ones in blue mean that we actually did better than we had expected. The ones in red are the ones that we did not as well as we expected. And the ones in black are the ones that we hit our budget mark pretty close.
And that's the black and white sheet that you have.
Yeah, you'll have to look up on the screen
It
to see.
looks like this
Line
one,
numbers with the reds?
Huh?
Greg. It's this one.
No, the other one. Yours is black and white because the printer decided it didn't want to be nice.
And it'll be easier for you to look at the screen
Oh, okay.
than
I
it
see.
will be to look at your sheet.
Right.
So as you can see,
Can you
we did,
bump the screen a little larger, maybe?
Or just read the line numbers of the red ones?
Yeah.
The line numbers are not on your sheet.
Are?
No, they're not.
They're on the right.
yeah, there, I put them on the right.
Oh, okay.
So I will try it on a custom at 300%. Is that easier?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yes.
Okay, so as you can see, our tithing and offering, because of the end of the year stuff, we, Pastor Scott had asked people if they were able to give a gift, and we did really well with that. So we actually did $9,000 better than we had anticipated. The relief fund is kind of a pass-through, so we don't really count that, even though it comes in as an income for our budget. And missing designated is the same way. If you look at our building and maintenance, and I've got the sheet if anybody wants to look at it, we had budgeted 3,200 and we spent 14,080. And the reason for that is half the windows that we bought, the new windows that we bought at $75 or $15,000, half of it was paid in last year. So there's that in there. Plus we did some work up at, what's the name?
Karen.
Paradise, yeah, where we rented some equipment to clean up
Karen Wilson.
Karen Wilson's place.
We bought
So
the
it
water
included
fountain.
that, it included the water fountain, the sink, I believe,
Yeah, the hot water.
yeah, and a few, yeah, the hot water, changing the hot water into there was quite expensive, it was like
Into
$600.
there means the kitchen.
Yes, and it's marvelous. They do,
It is, unless you have to wash dishes for any length of time, that it gets cold on
well,
you.
you just gotta be smarter.
What more can I do to volunteer to help?
We'll talk about that later, but, yeah, there's always room to volunteer. Okay, disposal services, we went up a little bit. Janitorial, we spent quite a bit less, 450 less than we anticipated. Landscaping is an interesting one, it's going to be really affected in this year's budget, but last year, we spent $500 less.
Well,
And
I
is
think
that
that's
because we
of the
didn't pay
credit
them
card.
1 month
I
time?
think it's because of the credit card.
Oh, okay,
So we paid the last month this month,
okay.
but we have a way to fix that for next year.
But on a lot of them, we ended up fairly close, even the ones that we were either over or under were fairly close, with the exception of like the relief expenses. We probably had, I don't know what it's been in the past, but we had a lot of people that were homeless that were looking to us for hotel rooms, for gas cards and things like that, and that's why that one has gotten so high. we're gonna be working a little bit on that this year to bring that down a little bit. Okay, what are the other big ones? Missions, we came in very close to what we expected. That
26
came
and
in-
27 with the gifts and the kitchen supplies.
Right,
That's mostly Sunday lunch, kitchen
Right.
supply stuff.
and then with our salaries and everything, we came in pretty close to what we wanted. Overall, we brought in 9,000 more than we thought, but we spent 11,000 more than we expected. So we started the year off. Let me get to that file. Which is right here. We started off the year.
You'll need to expand that too.
Okay. Nice and big, and this is the only part we need to see anyways. You'll see that we started off the year with 42,364,000, and we ended up the year with 22,973. So our reserves actually went down $19,000 last year. And we're hoping that with some of the changes we're going to be making this year, that we can start reversing that.
Now, to be fair, the window purchase that was like the 7,500 something, right?
Right,
Was intended to come out of that special gift,
right,
but we can't transfer it out of that account yet. And
Right.
so it can't.
and I'll be talking about that in a moment,
So
yeah.
it's not really out of the reserves, it's just temporarily out of the reserves.
Right, yeah.
So what we have right now is we have one bank account, one savings account. Our savings account is through Axos, Axos, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't write as neat as Micah, so I just deal with it. And this is our savings account.
I can read it.
And right now, it has $150,000 in it. We have been working to try and transfer money out of that into our checking account. But what they won't do is transfer it from their institution to another institution. So Mike has been working on it, we're hoping by tomorrow, and I haven't gotten an email from them yet, by the way.
No, but I'll talk to you about that later. I'm going to bring it over.
Okay.
They messaged me yesterday.
So we're going to be starting an Axos
Maybe.
checking account, hopefully. And then right now we have Columbia Bank, we might be staying with them, but we might be going with Wells Fargo, depending how easy it is to transfer in and out of that account. So I'm gonna put it down for Wells Fargo right now. And Wells Fargo will be a checking account. But what we're gonna be using it as a transfer account. In other words, we get the tithing in each week, each month, and those checks and the cash, we can't deposit to an online bank. So we will be depositing into a local bank, and then once every month, I'm guessing, or once every week, whatever we need, we will transfer it over to the Axos checking account.
The
What-
reason to do that is because of the interest.
Right.
Will it go to checking or will it go to savings?
It would go to checking, and then we will manipulate it into savings as we go there. Our plan
that
is to
checking
make
account
sure
goes
that
in
we
for-
have no less than $26,000 in this account at any time. That covers 2 months' worth of bills, the month that we're working on and the following month. So anything that we get above that 26,000, anytime we go above that at the end of the month, we will transfer that into the savings account. If we go below that, we will transfer out of the savings into the checking. And Micah and I and Jennifer have talked about this a lot. We already know how we're going to be doing it. Any questions on this part?
Okay, so reason for this is Axios requires a certain amount of money in that checking account to keep the fees down. And in the savings account, they pay a higher interest rate. So we're working, anytime it gets above 26,000, to move the money immediately to the higher interest rate. If it gets below 26,000, we have to move money back. So there will be going back and forth in those two accounts, which these guys will keep track of.
But both of those accounts yield a lot more interest than any of the local banks. So I think,
Or the Wells Fargo.
yeah, I think the checking account is something like 3% and the savings is like 4%. It's something in that order.
Instead of 0.01.
Right, and so that 26,000 in the checking will earn us $60 a month just sitting there. And the, whatever's in savings, more than that.
So is Axios just as safe a business to have our money as any other quote local or normal bank?
Yeah, it is FDIC insured. It is insured through the federal government, just like a regular bank, yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
Our
They
local
just
banks
don't have
money there
offices.
either.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
physically,
but
they
I
have
know,
some, but not all of it.
But like, this is the first time I've ever heard of Axios, so
Yeah.
I'm just.
Is there a cap, Micah, on the amount of what's in the bank that is secured by the FDIC?
Yes, for every bank, it's 250,000. So even if you put in at Wells Fargo or someplace like that, it's a $250,000 insurance per depositor. So yeah.
So if we went over 250,000 in Axios, we'd open another account.
Yes.
If we have more than $250,000 in cash, we have other nice problems to deal with.
But yes, like you don't want to have a checking account with $1 million in it. That's
I think Tom said he'd write that check.
All right, go back to this.
Okay, so, yeah, what is going on with the Axios account? We put that $150,000 in there, and since then, we have been getting $500 a month in interest.
Yeah.
So
Go
we've
back to
already
here.
collected over $2,000 in interest. Okay, so let's go to what our 2025 compared to 2026 budget is. As you look at the tithing and offering, does everybody see this fine? Okay. The tithings and offerings, we went from 157 last year. We're expecting to go down to 132 this year. And the reason is because we have had a very large donor that has started going to another church and tithing over there.
So do you have the right form on there now?
Yes.
Yes.
So go to your colored sheet now.
There's only one color one.
She can't tell. The one on top is the wrong one.
Oh, this is the wrong one?
Move it.
It's the one with numbers on the left.
That's the correct one.
Okay, so as you can see, our tithing is, we're anticipating that going down.
What column and what line?
We are in column E, line 3. And it is in red, so our overall income that we're expecting this year is going to be 138,100, and that is in line 7, column E. But we were also planning on transferring $115,000 out of the Axios savings into the checking. That's not going to be a one-time shot. That'll be over the next probably 7 months that we're going to be doing that.
In
And I'll
little
explain that in
pieces.
a little bit.
In small pieces.
Yes. Okay, so, and then if you look at that 115, down below it, you will see 111,300. That is for redoing the roof. Richard has been very, very kind in getting up and patching our roof for the last couple of years, but it is time for it to be replaced. I don't even remember when it was last done.
97.
Long time
Okay.
ago.
I think most of us in the room are familiar with this, but there may be a few that don't know where that money came from and how we decided to deal with it. So we had a large gift in the middle of the year of $150,000, and the leadership decided to use the majority or all of that gift to catch up on maintenance projects that we have not been able to keep up with. So But that isn't enough. That 150 isn't enough to do all the things we'd like to do. We'd like to get a new roof. We'd like to redo the pavement in the parking lot. We'd like to replace all the lights. We'd like to fix the windows. We'd like to get better insulation. We'd like to do carpet. We'd like painting. We'd like air conditioning. We need upgraded electrical systems. There's lots of stuff to do around here. So that 115 for roofing, windows, and lighting, I think that's what we settled on as the best options for right now, is to make sure the roof doesn't leak, to get better windows so that our PG&E bill hopefully goes down, and as preparation for getting air conditioning in the future, and to replace the lighting with less expensive lighting, because lighting that's less expensive to run, because again, our PG&E bill is a big part of our expenses.
Yes, and before we can get in air conditioning and some of the things that we want to do, they're going to require us to do an energy survey to see how much energy we're losing out of this. So with that, we have to, number one, we have to replace our windows to dual pane so we're not losing as much. We also have to upgrade our electrical. Right now it's at 200 amp. According to Pastor Christopher, we have to upgrade that to 600 amp. But we can't even do that until we start doing insulation, new roofing, and things like that. So we kind of prioritized what needed to be done. And the roofing, the windows, and the lighting were the main ones. And the lighting we're changing simply because these are ancient and they use twice as much, at least twice as much power as LED. So we're going to switch over to LED lighting. And we'll be doing that pretty quickly. Okay, then if you go down to
Craig,
line 12,
Craig.
yes.
Yeah. One question back to line 3 for a moment. Not line 3, it's line 5. That's no longer mission designated there. That particular column there, which we showed for $3,600, has to do with our space rental instead of missions designated.
Right, yeah, that makes, line 5, missing, I'm sorry, thank you for catching that. Missing designated is now an income off the rentals that we have for Pastor Bruce with Sojourners, and then the county using the fellowship hall once a week. And we're hoping to, or we will be getting in about $3,600 with that. Now, if you go down to line 12.
Wait just a minute on that, let me get that right. That is $600 a year from each. This year, because we didn't get paid last year, it's gonna double up.
We did it.
Well, we're getting we're getting $600 a year from them. It's $50 a month.
For Bruce, it's 100 for the county.
Okay, so that's $600 from Bruce and $1,200 from them. That's $1,800 a year. How is this $3,600?
You said you're gonna get 2 years.
It's because it's 2 years worth, and it's a little
We
less than that
got paid
because,
last year
Yeah,
though.
well, that's what I'm saying, this number is too high.
Yeah, we got paid in full by Bruce, this last week.
right.
For last,
I think that
For
number,
the last half of last year.
right, I think this number is high by $300,
yeah, that needs to be adjusted, is
Right.
what I'm saying. Okay.
which is really
Will,
easy.
will you double check with Craig or Tom to get that number adjusted?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, back to line 12 with landscaping. We have decided that with purchasing some battery-operated equipment, that we could do our own landscaping. And we're gonna be buying this equipment I think this next week. And it's gonna be $5,000. Now, we only save $500 this year off landscaping, but it saves us $6,000 every year after that. And that's one of the things that we're doing to try and better our next budget.
So we're keeping 500 in there. Is that, any of that, like,
Transportation,
A truck,
or a transportation,
a truck.
or a truck. But it was,
I have to be cleared by the insurance company. We have to pay for insurance for that. If I do it with my personal vehicle, I'm literally picking up a friend. And it doesn't require anything special. So we would have maintenance on it, we would have insurance on it, we would have registration on it. It's all stuff I have to do anyways with my car. So it made more sense to put aside some money for the gas expense. Okay. With decorations, I had a huge donation this year through the Stetsons. So
Not from the statue, through the statue.
through the Stetsons. Is that what I said?
Yeah, it's what
Yeah, okay. So I think last year's raffle brought in, between the two of you, like $240, didn't it?
Yes, 44, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, anybody that wants to ever donate to me, cash or items, yeah, feel free, greatly, I appreciate it.
So our fellowship ministry totals on line 30 went from 5,500 down to 4,400. Missionaries, we didn't change it a whole lot, except for there was one, and I'll let Dave Watley talk about it when he gets up here.
He's not getting up.
Oh, he's not?
He made his last week.
Oh, okay. We had, and I don't remember which, Eduardo Hernandez was a missionary over at Cuba. Actually, what we spent last year, just in a different budget category.
Jennifer screwed that up.
To be able to keep our budget within reason. And we are going to be looking at our budget halfway through the year. Our budget committees get together and see if we can change that, if we can get the income that we are hoping to get. You had something?
I'd like to talk about line 61 briefly when you're.
Fine. Micah?
So, we added that this year, bringing the Olsons on staff. And I've had a couple of questions since that was done. I had somebody say, why are you guys being so cheap and paying them so little? They do so much around here, and they do. The Olsons do a ton around here, mostly as volunteer. But they came to the church, and they needed to be in 5 times what they asked for.
I know, yeah.
And so, but I want you to know, we're not trying to use them as slave labor.
Right,
That's why that number is so low.
right, yes.
So if you look at line 62, the staff service total has gone from 85,900 down to 74,120. Out of the $150,000 gift that we got back in July, I think it was.
And that money is all dedicated to facilities.
Yes, we are anticipating having between $33,000 and $35,000 left after we do these expenditures for the roof, lighting, windows, and landscaping equipment. And that we are going to be using for future 570. And we are still over budget by $16,170, which is better than we were last year. But again, as Micah preached last year, we are praying that God will bring us those extra finances. Any questions? Thank you, because I think my throat's just about shot.
Okay, it is almost 10:30. Micah, let's save the bylaws stuff for the other meeting. I think that's all of the ministry reports. Are there any questions that anybody has
Okay.
on
No,
any
we
of the
would qualify
things
this year.
that have been discussed today? Anything at all?
What more can I do to help?
We'll talk about that when we get to the meeting later, Corey, but thank you for asking.
Yes, I do have things that I could use.
Yes.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you, Craig.
Yes, thank you. Good job.
So,
in the congregational meeting. Um, I'm trying to walk a very fine line between, I guess I would call it, things in a pastor's job description that appear to be contradictory. Being encouraging and being challenging, both of myself and of leadership and of you. Craig and Micah and I, as you know, went to a conference in October that had to do with the seasons of a pastor's life. And there were men there, although not many, who were relatively new in ministry, just beginning, not many. I think there were probably the majority of the men there who were in the middle years of their ministry. And then probably 25% of them were in the last quarter of their ministry. So there was a wide range of preaching, discussion about how to proceed in the early years, how to hold fast in the middle years, how to finish up. And so I talk to you as one who's in that latter, probably 10% of my ministry, encouraging and challenging. I have to encourage myself. That doesn't mean that you don't encourage me. You do. And I have to challenge myself. It is too easy for me in a small church with the real accountability being myself, holding myself accountable, and God holding me accountable. But this is a church that almost ever since I got here in 2001, late 2001, it has mostly been internally focused. Our ministries are mostly internal ministries. And that's reflected pretty much in the minimal growth. And Micah will talk in the meeting in here after the service about the growth or lack of it in attendance and the growth in giving. And I've said many times, no entity of any size does anything. A business, athletic team, a church. It is the people inside that organization who individually pull together and the organization moves. You can have a basketball team, and they've tried it. Get all of the 5 best basketball players you can get together, and they're not going to win any championships if they don't have a common goal, if they don't subordinate some of their own wishes, some of their own ego, some of their own talent, and work together with a leader who helps them do that. They don't win championships. Same thing is true in a business. Same thing is true in a church. If a church doesn't have leadership that works with the church, works with the leadership, works with the people, if the people don't have one goal, you can look through, as I did with us in the summer through 1 Corinthians 12, 13, and 14, you cannot do anything by yourself. The Bible is clear about that. We have to work together to do things with a common purpose, and then the body builds itself up with the leadership of the Holy Spirit and the direction of the gifts, use of the gifts. So when I preach in a few minutes, I'm going to be talking about how it is that we need to find a way to refocus. We are excellent. We hear that from people who visit. We hear that among ourselves in testimonies of our ability to minister among ourselves to ourselves. But we know that we have not grown as a church. We have, many of us, grown individually in our own maturity. And if I were, and I'll be doing this during the next 4 weeks after today, focusing on things that please God in the church. I've gone back to the chapters in the first part of Revelation and kind of put together the things that Jesus is saying. I love this about your church, Smyrna, or Philadelphia, or Pergamum, whoever it is. And I made a list of the things that he says, I have this against you. And that's not a full model of what a 21st century church should be doing, but it gives us some things to think about. And there are a fair amount of things in those lists that we are not doing well. And there are things that we can buy a book on 21st century church growth and the things they do to be big. I'm not interested in being big. But if we were to look at our logo, which we'll do during the service, or if we were to look at the inside of our church bulletin at Jeremiah 9:23 and 24 about North Valley, or not North Valley, Bridgeway Community Church is God's church in this community to do these things, we are not doing, and I am not doing, as good a job as our logo and our belief system states about who we are as a church. We're not much of a bridge to bring people into this church. And we should be thinking about that more than we are. So we've got about 8 minutes. What do you think about that?
Out.
Yeah, Corey?
I've told everybody I know about this church and
Yeah.
all of my homeless friends. All, every time I see them, where do you stay? Behind the church. David Street, Bridgeway.
Yeah.
Not the one with the weird roof and the stained glass, the little one.
Well, actually, this is a bigger one.
Well, we are a church that is in a community that doesn't know the community. The community doesn't know this church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ernie?
Well, I was thinking about in past years, especially when we were involved in PATH, and you were very active in Rotary and the Chamber and the, which was outreach, and you were very busy with people coming into the church to get funds and to get help. That should have been a huge outreach. It still didn't grow the church immensely. So it's not just contact, I'm not sure what it is, because I think that the pastoralship is amazing.
Yes.
We have the depth of people that, I've seen churches, big churches, who, when the pastor's missing, it's horrible. The elders or deacons, the associate pastors are boring and struggling because they don't have enough experience. This church is dynamic in that sense. So I don't know what else
I hardly go anywhere that I don't run into somebody that says, hello, Pastor Scott. So the principle there is that shepherds don't reproduce sheep. Sheep reproduce sheep. Margaret and then Suzette. Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, we are too.
Okay. Suzette,
We could do an outreach thing of some kind. Something out in the front of our church, like a family barbecue or something.
I agree.
I know there's always yard sales, there's a lot of work involved with those.
Community yard sale,
so-
not a Bridgeway yard sale,
Work on that.
community yard sale.
Yeah, unless, yeah,
No, they
community,
work really good if they're organized properly. They work really good.
right, where we'd allow people in the community to sell things here. But, I don't know if it'd be a free barbecue, if we had the funds for that or not. But a welcome to our church, flyers out and exposure in the neighborhood. And then, you know, meeting people and then inviting them to church and hopefully some coming. That's what we did at our old church too. It didn't bring a lot of people, but we were in a more remote area in Rancho Tehama.
Food always brings.
So, yeah, food brings people with a bake sale. Yeah, barbecue / bake sale. Even if we didn't have a yard
We could do
sale,
a bake
but,
sale too.
right,
So I think that kind of stuff is an interesting idea, a good idea, but the people who are trying to run the church and be the pastors and do
Right.
the ministry within can't
Yeah.
be the ones
right,
that are in charge of doing all that without.
I
They don't
know,
have the capacity for that.
right,
Especially if they've got families, like Chris, Pastor Chris.
right.
They can't.
We need
So-
help from the
so
congregation.
We need there's two focuses. There's the internal preaching, stick with the word, make sure we're on the right track
Right,
with our faith and
yes,
our doctrine. And then there's the reaching out bit. And I think for a long time, churches have just expected the pastors to do all of it.
right,
You know, and the people will do it if the pastor leads it. But Micah can't do that. He's a full-time
Right.
job.
yeah, we need help from the congregation.
I hear that
But
often.
it isn't just me. You two have been a dynamic force and are in this church. But the number of things
There's a
that
limit too.
you guys are taking on and doing really well has me concerned about your limits and whether you're getting close to them. So I love that idea, but I don't want that under any circumstances to become something that we all say, hey, the Olsons have a passion for that, let's let them do all the work.
Right, and we don't wanna do all the work either. We
well,
want help.
We
I'm
have a lot of
going to
introverts in this town.
take a risk that I will get chewed out in the car on the way home. Colleen is pretty shy. Most of you know that.
Yeah, we just saw that.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 5 people, but certainly 2 and probably 4 people come to this church because Colleen has talked to them about the church.
Yeah.
Her mom comes, Barbara, her friend comes, she's the one that leaves usually before either I or Mike or whoever preaches, because she has to be at work at Walmart at a certain time, and it's usually around 12:15 or 12:30. And then there's another couple, a guy named Al and his former wife named Elaine, who's probably gonna be here today. They were here last week. And Colleen isn't a soul winner. She just wants people to come and meet her husband.
Right.
And she doesn't know how to really do that, except beat on them to come to church.
I like beating on people.
You're gonna beat on him on your way home.
Yes, I
But there is no magic. There are books written, there are videos you can get, there are programs you can pay money to go to on how to build a church. But it's Matthew 28, go into the world and make disciples. Yeah, I know.
Another thing that I have found, and I've done with a few people that come to church, is I take them on the tour of the church. I'm in every room, I open and show them what's going on. And they have been so appreciative of that piece. And one couple came, and I kind of went over the history of the church, and they don't cut the church, but they were totally fascinated by the history.
Yeah, you invite people to church or you don't.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Craig and Suzette have done that. I think Shirley has done that in the area where they live. But you invite people to church. Diane has done it. You invite people to come to church. You invite neighbors, you invite. David at High Point, that's one of the only churches in town that has grown since COVID. And that church has a large intent to invite people. And they don't have many programs. They do have one or two. But that has been on my mind.
There's
That,
some caution there, though, that we don't also want to be a church that just tells people what they want to hear.
well, I'm not worried that
You know, I
we'll
mean, it's
do
a
that.
narrow gate that we're walking, it's a narrow road.
Well, she has a point there, though, because we see a lot of people going to churches that their discipline isn't part of it. In fact, I've talked to Micah about that, talking to the Tehama County Ministerial Association about church discipline. I know some of these churches that that have leadership that you would never guess that they're Christians outside of the church, because there is no church discipline. So that's part of it too.
Well, are you worried that we will suddenly stop preaching the Bible?
No, I think that we can invite, but we can't make them stay.
I think a lot of what's going on at High Point also is dynamics. I mean, they got this wonderful, big, huge praise team with all the most modern equipment, and they get to hooping and hollering, and and that's attracting people to that. But it's just an emotional thing, in my opinion. I don't.
Right.
Well,
I
they're
don't
getting
wanna say that
people,
I'm doing the right thing. I'm just saying that sometimes the dynamic of the church is what brings people, but they don't stick around, or they're there for something other than.
well, I don't know if the praise team brings them.
You know,
But-
people that-
But
You'd be
David
surprised.
has taught them to invite. And the praise team may be part of what keeps them. But I have talked with David a little bit, and he has taught them to invite. Micah.
I'm in agreement with it, we need to be inviting and all of that thing, but, I have a concern about us as, we're the core group, that, I'm gonna talk about this a little bit in the afternoon, that we've lost people, but the core has stayed the same over the last 6 years. And one of the things that, as I've been reading to the kids and the guys who are living with us, we're going through the story of David. And that guy, he had a group around him that later became known as mighty men. But they started out, the Bible doesn't exactly use this term, but they started out as a whole bunch of losers.
Yeah.
It says, all the people who were discontent, who didn't want to pay their taxes, who were losers. And they came around him, and he did what they didn't expect. David, he fought the Philistines, or he fought these people or those people, but they expected him to lead them into battle whenever they thought it was necessary. So when the Amalekites came and raided all their homes and kidnapped all their wives and children, they were angry at David, and he didn't jump up and say, quick, guys, let's go into battle. He stopped them all while they were about to stone him and said, we need to inquire of the Lord. And in everything, he demonstrated to them and taught them to be people that inquired of the Lord together. And one of my concerns about our church is that we have several times, as we've started years and talked about growing the church, we have attempted to set up a time when we, as the leaders, come together and pray together. And other than our prayers at the beginning of leadership meetings, we can't seem to do that. And I'm concerned about our ability to grow and maintain growth if that foundation of us seeking God together in a regular and recurring basis isn't solid.
So what you're saying is we should go back to having a prayer meeting time, if we
We
can.
need to find out when and how many of us can commit to praying together.
If leadership can't prioritize that,
So, Micah,
what can we do?
would you pray
Yes.
to the next event?
Father, that's where you're always taking us, the next event. This is a path that we're walking down, Lord, not a place where we're sitting. And I pray that you would guide our steps, you would guide our words as Scott preaches to us about the way that this church is formed and the goals that you have for us. Lord, speak through him to our hearts. Show us the areas where you are pleased with us and the areas where you would challenge us, the areas where we may be displeasing to you. Lord, soften our hearts to hear from you, to receive your direction and your correction, your discipline of the church, so that we can be a body that walks together to be your hands and feet in this world. Lord, glorify yourself in this place and in us as individuals. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
If I have time, also on that, stiffer.
Oh, it's on the cards.
Deacons, we're a little bit behind, so do not dilly-dally.